Can you share the room link again? Because I was kind of. Okay, great, thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hi,
Mr. Ray.
hello. Yes.
I'm
Are
already the
you?
host for this session.
I see. Are you speaking now? Because I did not hear anything. I just joined. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Ray. Do you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right, are we starting to discuss now?
We're still waiting a few participants to join in. Probably about less than 5 minutes, we can start.
All right, sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Halo, Assalamualaikum Cik Akram.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Cik Akram, terima kasih. Saya rasa kita boleh mula sekarang sebab kita dah ada 6 orang peserta.
Okey sebab dalam grup dengan
Uh,
Cik Firdaus dia cakap mungkin kita nak combine
Oh, okey. Kalau
sebab
macam
ada
tu,
sebab ada grup sebelah yang pun tak ramai juga.
oh ya, ada satu grup yang 4 tu ada 3-4 orang saja peserta.
Ha. Dan macam mana nak tunggu
Okey.
dulu ke atau kita boleh proceed?
Um, Kalau macam tu, kita tunggu dululah Cik Akram.
Okey, sekejap saya baca lagu. Baik, kita boleh mulakan dulu. Okey, kita ada 7 orang peserta daripada 14. Jadi insya-Allah kita boleh mulakan. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi semua. Selamat datang ke kumpulan 1, grup perbincangan kumpulan 1, dan kita punya topik untuk pagi ni kita bincangkan tentang topik khusus pendidikan sekolah ke pengajian tinggi. Jadi pertamanya kita saya akan kongsikan tentang apa perbincangan kita pada hari ini, topik subtopik dia iaitu Lost Boys, kumpulan B40, dan yang kedua Meritokrasi dan Kesediaan Kaunseling Kerjaya, dan yang terakhir Disiplin Diri, Moral dan Kesihatan Mental. Jawab selama jam dan dengan dan di sebelah saya tak ada, saya tak tahu sebelah kanan ke kiri saya punya repo Malika. Malika. Okey, dengar ke?
Encik Akram. Encik Akram.
Okey,
Hello, Assalamualaikum Encik Akram.
hello.
Internet Encik Akram mungkin ada slow connection. Sebab dia kerap kali hilang signal.
Sekejap saya
Yeah,
try.
I also hear the voices breaking.
Ya, betul.
Okey, kejap sebab saya pakai wifi.
Mungkin Encik Akram boleh tutup video dulu untuk elakkan berlaku low connection.
Okey, boleh dengar sekarang?
Sekarang okey. Terima kasih.
Yeah, better.
Okey, kita balik semula dengan tadi. Tadi saya terangkan pasal pembahagian masa. Kita bahagikan masa untuk kita punya perbincangan pagi ni 15 minit untuk sesi pengenalan, 30 minit untuk perbahasan topik 1, 30 minit untuk topik 2 dan 30 minit untuk topik ketiga, dan kemudian kita ada tambahan jika ada kelebihan masa, kita ada 10 minit untuk sesi round table ataupun soal jawab, dan kemudian kita ada 5 minit penggulungan daripada hasil perbincangan pagi. Dan kita teruskan kepada sesi pengenalan pagi ni. Saya mulakan dengan diri saya sendiri. Saya Akram Syami Azmi. Saya dari Universiti Teknologi Mara, pelajar pasca siswazah, pelajar master dalam bidang kejuruteraan awam. Dan saya pas kepada repo saya, Miss Malika. Mungkin boleh perkenalkan diri.
Salam sejahtera semua. Nama saya Malika. Saya pelajar Master USM mengambil bidang pengurusan dan pentadbiran pendidikan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Miss Malika. Kemudian sebab senarai nama kat saya ni ada 14 orang. Jadi mungkin saya kena rujuk dekat sini kot. Mungkin boleh mulakan dengan Dewi Sakti. Ada ke? Okay, kalau tak ada kita pergi kepada Nur Nabila Huda. Dengar ke putus-putus?
Unmute kot video dia. Dia punya mic unmute kot.
Sebab tak ada pun respon. Ada. Baiklah, saya bacakan dekat sini. Nur Ina Kenyo, pensyarah daripada UMS. Kemudian kita ada kat sini Magdalene Ang. Boleh perkenalkan diri?
Ya, terima kasih Cik Akram. Saya Magdalene Ang, saya daripada USM. Terima kasih.
Okey, terima kasih. Kemudian siapa lagi? Parvin Pal kau ada ke?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okey, boleh perkenalkan diri sikit?
Just kejap ya. 1 minute please.
Okey.
Sorry, I baru balik daripada vaccination, so otak tak jalan betul-betul. Okay. Okay.
Tak apa.
Hi, nama saya Parvin, and then saya daripada Utah. And I am sorry morning I tak dapat join sebab I went for my vaccination. I just came back, so I'm a bit lost here. So I'm sorry for that. That's all.
Okey, terima kasih Mas
Yes.
Parvin. Okey, yang terakhir kat sini Ray. Ada ke?
Yes, good morning everyone. Can you hear me?
Okey, boleh dengar.
Ya,
Silakan.
saya Ray. Sekarang saya adalah HR practitioner dari sebuah company Jerman yang terletak di Penang lah. So, I juga pelajar part-time master dari UNITA.
Okey, thanks Ray.
Thank you.
Okey, saya tengok dekat sana nama ni tu sahaja. Okey, jadi kita teruskan untuk kita punya sesi perbincangan. Topik pertama kita iaitu Lost Boys. Jadi Lost Boys ni daripada kalangan B40. Sedikit pengenalan tentang Lost Boys ni. Tadi kita kita dapat sekarang ni banyak IPTA dan IPTS. Jadi apa yang berlaku sekarang kebanyakan daripada kumpulan B40 ni ada um, peluang yang agak berbeza dengan golongan yang lebih tinggi ataupun yang lebih uh, lebih senang daripada mereka untuk masuk ke dalam pengajian tinggi sekarang. Jadi adakah panggilan sebab itulah panggilan itu diberikan iaitu lost boys ataupun budak yang hilang. Atau jadi kerana mereka hilang satu daripada peluang untuk melanjutkan pelajaran daripada peringkat sekolah ke peringkat pengajian tinggi. Jadi kat sini saya boleh buka lantai perbincangan kepada ahli-ahli um, ahli-ahli peserta kita pada hari ini. Dipersilakan. Mungkin boleh sesiapa yang ada pandangan untuk kita perbincangkan, mungkin boleh utarakan keadaan semasa, um, apa yang kita boleh selesaikan melalui mungkin uh, ada cadangan idea penyelesaian.
Boleh saya kongsi pendapat sedikit, Encik Akram dan semua? Halo?
Boleh Doktor?
Yes.
Boleh dengar ya? Sorry
Ya,
ya.
boleh dengar. Terima kasih.
Okey. Ya, saya rasa B40 tu kalau tengok keadaan semasa ni memang saya tak faham apa maksud peluang yang mudah lah sebab currently ni mereka lah yang underprivileged, yang tak dapat akses ke universiti, institusi pengajian tinggi. Jadi memang ada platform untuk mereka supaya mendapat lebih banyak peluang lah. Tapi kalau kata yang mudah tu tak. Tapi masa sekarang ni memang they are the underprivileged lot lah. Termasuk juga OKU kan, orang kurang upaya. So saya rasa sekarang ni kerajaan sedang berusaha untuk mempertingkatkan representation of this B40 group in the higher institution lah. Itu daripada saya. Contohnya macam untuk orang kurang upaya. Saya tidak tahu sama ada semua di sini pernah dengar polisi daripada universiti iaitu polisi inclusive policy for disabled people. Jadi ini adalah satu usaha daripada kerajaan untuk increase access and success of disabled people dekat universiti lah. Ya. So memang kerajaan tengah berusaha tapi masalah dengan guidelines ni dia hanya mewawarkan saja tapi tak ada apa tu tak mandatory lah untuk universiti untuk membuat policy. Sebab sekarang ni kalau nak tengok daripada kajian yang lepas, baru ada 5 universiti sahaja yang ada policy inklusif ini. Yang lain tak ada. Ya. So itu sajalah untuk for this time being. Thank you.
Terima kasih Miss Erlyn. Mungkin ada pandangan daripada ahli yang lain tentang isu yang kita bincangkan sekarang.
Okay, maybe I go next.
Okay.
I rasa kumpulan B40 tu, yes, I agree with Madeline, dia included OKU, tapi dia juga included those kumpulan di mana mereka come from a very challenging school loh. So, setiap sekolah kerajaan, dia ada kategori sendiri lah. So challenging here refer to first they must come from a rural area punya sekolah yang quite pedalaman. So that's why they got a little access to technology. Contoh. Then secondly is if you look at one organization, contoh macam Teach for Malaysia kan, they used to place the teacher to a challenging school. So these students from the challenging school, normally they will lack of first thing technology, second thing is the access to higher education punya option. So bagi mereka, just graduate with a piece of SPM sudah cukup makan. So to me, they don't have access or the accessibility to knowledge in the area that make it difficult for them to move to a higher because they don't know what are the options available for them. So that is one big challenge I see, in this lost boy group within the B40 lah. Yeah.
Ya, terima kasih Mr. Ray. Betul, pendapat daripada Mr. Ray, sebabkan sebelum ni saya pernah terlibat dengan program selangkah ke universiti. Kita pergi ke pendalaman ataupun sebelum ni kita pernah pergi ke pulau di sekitar Pulau Langkawi tu. Jadi memang kebanyakan daripada anak-anak dekat situ kebanyakannya habis SPM. Ada yang tak habis SPM pun, ada yang PMR sahaja sebabkan dia rasa dia lepas daripada PMR tu dah cukup lah. Sebab kat situ kerja dia nelayan dan macam tu dia punya tu. Jadi dia lihat persekitaran dia macam tu, jadi dia tak rasa yang dia perlu kepada higher education. Jadi kalau kita tanya pun sebab kita masa kita buat program selangkah tu kita nak cari orang yang ada SPM je. Tak kira result dia berapa, tapi nak cari yang SPM tu pun payah. Sebab dia tak ada SPM.
Ya, betul agree. Sebab mereka punya keluarga upbringing juga, maybe because of their keluarga punya background, because they see, oh, seluruh kampung, katakan kampung yang dia stay itu cuma graduated highest dari SPM. So mereka pun rasa tak penting untuk continue sampai degree contoh. So I think the mindset could be from the family background also that they have been taught this way all the while, and the thing is they don't have access to this option that make it so difficult. Yeah.
Ya, betul. Kebanyakannya memang daripada latar belakang keluarga juga. Sebabkan dia lihat adik-beradik dia dan sebagainya semuanya hadapi pekerjaan yang sama. Lepas sekolah buat apa, lepas tu buat apa, lepas dia macam tu. Jadi cuma mungkin ada tambahan yang saya jumpa, ada yang tamatkan pengajian di peringkat degree, yang balik semula ke kampungnya dan dia punya pekerjaan tetap yang sama. Jadi dia tak ada peluang pekerjaan yang sama dengan dia punya kelayakan. Jadi buatkan dia kerja sama dengan kawan-kawan dia yang peringkat sekolah tadi. Itu yang buatkan dia rasa macam okey, yang adik-adik dia yang bawah ni pun rasa macam tak apalah, tak sambung belajar tinggi pun tak apa sebab kerja yang master, yang habis master degree dengan master tu pun kerja sama juga. Itu yang saya pernah jumpa lah situasi sebelum ni. Jadi kat sini saya bacakan daripada penut Ina. Pada saya peluang dalam konteks negara adalah terbuka pada semua. Namun pada realitinya tidak semua kumpulan masyarakat dapat capai peluang yang sama. Terutamanya golongan B40 atas banyak faktor. Sosial, ekonomi, polisi accessibility terhadap peluang-peluang yang ada. Dalam konteks Sabah, masih banyak masyarakat ketinggalan dalam capaian maklumat internet sebab tidak semua kawasan ada coverage line internet. Ini menjadi masalah besar yang menjadi antara penyebab generasi B40 dan luar bandar lagi ketinggalan. Pihak berkuasa harus tangani ini dengan turun padang, tidak hanya bercakap dan wawarkan di kaca TV. Sebab ada juga rumah yang tidak ada TV dari pengalaman saya buat kajian. Itu daripada poin ini. Ya betul. Pendapat tu sebabnya macam saya daripada Pahang. Bila kita pergi ke luar bandar memang kita hadapi perkara yang macam tu. Di sana tidak ada capaian internet. Jadi bila kita cuba memberi solusi, contohnya pendidikan PDPR. Jadi solusi yang macam tu tidak terpakai di luar bandar sana. Kerana internet yang tidak ada. Kemudian yang cikgu di sekolah di luar bandar tu tidak boleh buat satu capaian melalui internet dengannya anak-anak murid dia.
Hi, can I share something?
Ya, boleh.
Okay.
Silakan.
Yeah, I'm Parveen again here. I think I can relate to what Mr. Ray has said, and also Miss Ang, and also Miss Noor. Whatever they have said is true. But you see, I come from a family where my father was a handicap, and for him, facilities was very limited. When I talk about facility, that means school facilities was also limited for OKUs. You know, especially for this B40 and OKU facility tak ada. So for them, they were not taught of like my dad. Of course, he was handicapped from one arm, so he's only one arm could work. So for him, it was very difficult to write. And we are talking about like my dad is now about 80 something, and the trend is still the same. You know, where these people are not when they go to a normal school, they are not given these facilities where they are educated on how to handle the normal facilities being disabled. Yang tu tak ada. So of course we just tell them, although you are handicapped, we give them the mindset that you are just like a normal person. But yes, being normal in terms of their mentality, to put that and ingrain that in their head that it is normal for you, what we can do, you can do. But we overlook at the fact that they need help, in the sense that their tables must be different. They are supposed to have proper ramps. They are supposed to be given these facilities in order for them to really enjoy the education in higher level. That's my opinion. Yeah. Thank you.
Cik
Thanks,
Akram.
Miss Fabi.
Cik
Okay.
Akram. Yeah,
Yeah.
can I follow from what this sorry, didn't get your name. Have to see the name. Parvinder, is it?
Yeah, Miss
Yes,
Fabi.
Parveen.
Parvinder, yeah, what you have said, yeah. I totally agree with you about the accessibility for people with disabilities in open spaces, public spaces. But then of late, I think we are getting there, but not yet there. So in the university, those universities that have policies in place, that including disability inclusive policies in place, they are trying their level best. But recent research have revealed that there is still more to be done, you know. So accessibility is still a problem, not just structural accessibility like ramps and all that you have mentioned. It is also socially, you know, whether they have the support from people who understand their world they're coming from, you know, as a disabled person, and the support that they need, like the counseling and the support in the universities. So, but unfortunately, all these are not really in place yet. We are trying our best, at least for the higher institutions, the universities. And I think the transition from we are talking about transition kan, daripada sekolah rendah menengah, we do have special education, and those have been in place for a long time. So to give credit to the schools and to the teachers, special students, teachers, and the schools, I think we have done relatively well. But the problem is when they finish secondary school, there is really difficult to transit from school to university because it's like sometimes they apply, they say, oh, we don't have the facilities to accommodate you. So universities don't realize that if you say no to a disabled person, you're actually discriminating. This is indirect discrimination. There are two types of diskriminasi, direct dengan indirect. So masalahnya, saya rasa kita kena ada awareness lah among Malaysian community to understand what is all this disability inclusive strategies and practices are all about. Dan bagi saya, paling penting, you have to get the disabled people or the persons with disability to be involved in decision making at all levels. Because, without us, nothing for us. That's the saying lah, the saying that goes. So you have to include them in all levels. Bukan panggil pakar-pakar ataupun para akademik, tapi what about disabled people? Because we are making policies to help them. So if they are not involved, so how would we really know what they want and what they really need? Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
If I may add to Magdalene's points and also Parveen earlier, I totally agree that nowadays those disabled persons can, when they access for higher education, because of the lack of facility in higher education, they tends to be feeling a bit macam lose out, but at the same time, the sustainability should not just stop at higher education from school. Yes, they go to the special education school, they have all the access they want, and then to colleges and then to university. It should be a sustainable process even when they have graduated from university up to the workplace. Because for my observation, I feel like a lot of workplace still do not have the facility to accommodate disabled person. Not to mention the facility itself lah, tapi juga dalam hiring policy mereka juga tak friendly to hire, an OKU person for the job. So yes, I think the problem we should start from looking at the learning institution to better prepare them to have a better facility so that it can include the OKU as well. But it just shouldn't stop at higher education. It should continue up to the workplace itself so that when this group of people graduated from the higher education, they are even be confident to prepare themselves to the workplace. So the whole process to me must be very sustainable. Yeah.
Ya, terima kasih Mr. Ray. Mungkin kita ada satu lagi mungkin tambahan daripada peserta sebelum kita bergerak ke topik kedua kita, meritokrasi. Adakah tambahan lagi? Jika tidak, kita
Encik
boleh.
Akram, kita ada bincang pasal Lost Boys tak tadi? Mungkin saya terlepas apa? Ada bincang tak Encik Akram, Lost Boys?
Sekarang ni tengah bincang pasal Lost Boys.
Lost Boys dengan kumpulan B40 tu,
Dia sekali.
they're not the same, right?
Dia dalam satu perbincangan yang sama kita letakkan.
Lost Boys, it's about the number of boys in higher education and colleges are lower than girls, kan? So what happened to the boys? Where are they after secondary schools? Saya pensyarah di universiti, bila ada kelas memang ramai pelajar wanita daripada pelajar lelaki. So what happened to all the boys? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Is that the theme that the organizer uses to represent this phenomenon?
Apa yang skrip daripada saya ni, Lost Boys ni dia pihak penganjur letakkan makna dia sebagai pelajar ataupun pelajar sekolah yang hilang peluang ke peringkat universiti. Mungkin termasuk lelaki dan perempuan.
Okey, tak apa. Terima kasih ya.
Terima kasih.
Just a question for everyone to think about lah. Katakan kita mention lost boys ini lah. Do we actually categorize those lost boy would definitely be fall under the group B40? Could the lost boy also come from,
No,
B40 or
No.
Grace, no, it's not. B40 are for those that you mentioned, the poor, the underprivileged,
Mhm.
and OKU. Lost boys is a different problem that we face in the universities. The boys seem to be missing in action. We get more girls than boys in the universities. And the question is, where are these boys? Where are they after their secondary education? So,
so it's a two
they-
different topics, right?
they are two different topics. Yeah.
Right.
This is to my understanding. I'm not sure about the rest. If anyone can share. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with Ms. Ng and also Mr. Ray. I think they're two different topics altogether. But Ms. Ng, this is a very interesting thing. Coming from an education background as well, I teach my students as well. I notice the girls have outnumbered the boys definitely, and when you ask them, they are more into earning money. They said, with this technology, they can earn more as compared to a degree that they get at the end of 3 years. This is the perception they have in their head, and to a certain extent it's true because I think guys, they tend to be very digitalized as compared to women, so they tend to explore this even by having games. Showing how to play a game on YouTube makes them earn a lot of money, so I'm guessing this is what's happening with these lost boys.
Yeah. Can I share with you some findings from Malaysia?
Sure.
That would be great.
Yes, some findings have actually discovered boys do not have that effective study skills as compared to girls. Somehow girls manage to have better study skills. And there is one factor. Another one is that boys are pretty shy to ask for help. Girls are more open to seek help if they need help in any way, but boys, because of them being boys, they are more afraid, and that is sort of like push them backward in the in self-improvement and so forth. And they like to explore on their own rather than just seek help from people. But girls are different. So these are two findings from Malaysia. Yeah. Thank
Can
you.
I beg to differ, Melanie?
Yes, it's
I
okay.
mean,
These are findings. Yeah, not my
yeah,
findings.
definitely. I mean, this
Yes.
is like to me, yes, it could be a study to as a whole for a generalization. But if you look at the technical fields like engineering, boy definitely dominance over girl. So like
Correct.
what Praveen have actually said also, they are more looking into the technical parts. They like gadgets, they are into the creative, the technology kind of female compared to the female groups, I would say.
Correct.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So for the STEM courses, when we talk about science, technology, and all that, yeah, boys, there are more boys in girls, and that's another problem altogether. How do you get more girls to come on STEM programs and all that, lah? But the lost boys are, in general, where are the boys when it comes to higher education? There are more girls than boys. Yeah. This is to my own understanding. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
But the general point of view is that boy would the number of boy furthering the higher education would be lesser than girl, right? That
Yes.
is the facts we
Yes.
all observe. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry ya, Cik Akram. It takes so much time. Nanti topik lain. Ada masa lagi untuk topik lain.
Tak apa, kita ada lagi mungkin 3 minit lagi untuk topik ni. Mungkin ada tambahan lagi untuk sebab kita punya bahagian pelan tindakan ni mungkin boleh tambah lagi. Mungkin ada idea tentang pelan tindakan kita mengenai dua perkara yang kita bincangkan tadi. Satu, kita punya peluang B40, dan yang kedua ni kehilangan ataupun kekurangan pelajar lelaki di peringkat higher education. Dia ke sesiapa tak mungkin ada tambahan mengenai apa tindakan kita, cadangan, idea tindakan yang untuk mengatasi dua masalah utama yang kita bincangkan.
Hi, me again.
Ya,
Tapi untuk this tindakan, to be honest, I see it has to come from the family, because many a times kita cakap that it has to come from schools. Yes, it has to come from schools, where schools are telling these boys that higher education is important. The value of the degree is there, which has people have actually come to a situation because of technology, where they feel that this paper qualification degree is not valuable. So yes, schools must encourage from time to time, all the time. So we have these open days, we talk to the schools, we invite universities, their people, their lecturers to go and give a talk to the schools. Besides that, I think it's the family. Yes, they can encourage all these gadgets, like what Mr. Ray said. Yeah, it's true, these boys are so much into gadgets, they learn that very fast as compared to girls. This is from what I have observed. I've not read any research, but from my observation, it is true. We girls know, like what Ms. Ang said, we are more to literature, reading, and we are very extrovert as compared to men. They are quite introvert. Yes, all these factors are there. I feel the Family Institute must push, the Family Institute must make them be aware of the importance of being in a higher education. Yes, once you get your paper qualification, you can incorporate your knowledge of gadgets and incorporate that with your whatever degree that you are doing, and you can even earn better. I think the ultimate goal, in my opinion, boys, they see their ROI, the return of investment. What do they get if they invest in that degree? Will they be able to make much money, or will they not be able to make that much of money? So I think parents, institute plays an important role, and then the school plays an important role. That's my opinion, truly my observation and opinion.
thanks Miss Parvin. Okay, kita mungkin boleh bergerak kepada kita punya uh, topik kedua, iaitu meritokrasi. Okay, meritokrasi ni tadi, apa yang berlaku dalam masyarakat kita hari ini, kita seperti yang kita dengar dalam forum sebentar tadi, sistem meritokrasi kita mungkin perlukan penambahbaikan ataupun mungkin ada pertukaran. Jadi di situ kita mungkin boleh perbincangkan lebih lanjut tentang bagaimana sistem meritokrasi ditetapkan, ataupun adakah memadai dan mencukupi sistem meritokrasi sedia ada di Malaysia yang kita amalkan sekarang, iaitu daripada peringkat sekolah nak pergi kepada peringkat pengajian tinggi, dan bagaimana pihak pengajian tinggi melihat kredit-kredit pelajar daripada sekolah menengah tadi untuk pergi melanjutkan pelajaran mereka. Mungkin kita boleh buka perbincangan kita. Mungkin ada idea ataupun permasalahan yang kita lihat hari ini yang kita boleh perbincangkan.
I tak pasti the current meritocracy system practice now, but back in my time, I think about 7 years ago, meritocracy dia cuma look at the academic result of student, right? So they purely look at the result, so that them to decide them to go to the next higher education. Tapi to me, a holistic point of approach should be taken not just on the result tapi juga on the student background. Contoh kita talk about the B40, and even the Lost Boy group. So if let's say result can just be the benchmark, I think it's not fair for this group of people as well lah. Macam contoh, I can quote like in US education, right? They are not just looking at the result, they are looking at the involvement for the community work the student do, and how active the representation of the student to the society. They are looking at that as a holistic approach to decide whether they grant them a place in university, at the courses they apply for or not. So yeah, it has to be both lah, not just the result lah, tapi juga consider dia punya the background of the student, and in US they even require student to write some testimony, some paper in order to tell kenapa mereka nak sambung university and so on lah. A personal statement of themselves so that they can be considered for a place in university. Yeah. And then in terms of scholarship punya chances, they should also look at this aspect also, not just on the result itself, in terms of the affordability of the student, to whether is the student really need a scholarship from the government or not. So yeah, so to me, this is what approaches should be lah. Yeah. Thank you.
Terima kasih Mr. Ray. Mungkin ada tambahan lagi mengenai sistem meritokrasi kita. Mungkin ada pihak universiti yang mungkin boleh ada maklumat yang lebih lagi detail dia tentang bagaimana proses pengambilan pelajar yang dilaksanakan hari ini.
Hi. Just to clarify, we are talking about this meritocracy based on pengambilan pelajar di university. It could be based on their results and so on, kan?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I also noticed, I was doing a quick reading here. I noticed some places where results play an important role. Probably this could also be one of the reason where that lost boys happen to, they may not be good in these reading subjects like sejarah ke, they may not be good in this kind of subject. So we tend to penalize them. I would use the word penalizing here, penalize them because of their inability to meet certain core papers, in the subjects that they choose. For example, I notice in some universities, I notice kalau you dapat mathematics, you dapat C, STEM, it's under STEM, it's not good. So maybe most of the courses you're not eligible for that. Maybe that's not the case. It could be the case where in high school, maybe students never liked studying. I never liked studying when I was in school. I hated studies. But then again, that should not penalize them. Probably when they have the foundation, in every university, we have a foundation stage. Probably we could give them a chance, and that foundation be some kind of a platform where we check their ability to probably further what they want to do. So we should not stop them because of the results, like what Mr. Ray was saying. Maybe we should give them a bit more of leeway, recognize what is their ability, because talents matter. Their own natural talents definitely matter. Results are not the final way to assess the student or to give them a course that they think they are okay just because of that result. So I agree on that part. Yeah.
Cik Ikram,
Yeah.
can I add on to what Ray and Pavin have said just now?
Yeah, silakan.
Ya, saya rasa definisi meritokrasi ni perlu be expanded lah, because like what Ray has said earlier, that it is just based on your academic performance. But I do know some universities also look at their co-curriculum activities kan. how active they are. Do they lead? Do they lead any societies and all that? Are they in the debate team? Some universities also look into that, especially the courses that they choose lah. Kalau dia nak masuk course yang perlu all this. But I think the term meritocracy ini just shouldn't be just based on academic per se, not on their on IQ, but also EQ. So the soft skills and the hard skills matter. So if you want our students, our graduates, the future leaders to be well-rounded, we have to look into this in the future. So bukan saja ambil yang pandai saja secara in terms of just intelligent, what do you call that? IQ tinggi tapi EQ tu tak ada, because it's very important to have both. And Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, the industry players will always look for students who have an age, job applicants who have an age over those people who are applying with them, something different, because if you get all those good students applying, so what makes one of them stand apart? It could be this added thing, the soft skills, which is important. I find the problem with even good students they lack the skill of treasure the pursuit of knowledge for what it is. Mereka belajar untuk dapat grade. Kalau suruh buat sesuatu macam a little assignment, ada markah tak? That will be the question they ask. Are there grades given? Are there marks given? If no, then they are not that motivated. So even very bright students, not those. So the thing that I see here, I think I also come from the same education system. So we are very driven by results, driven by grades. So I think we have to look further, follow the other countries, around us and see what matters most at the end. I think what matters most is education should produce graduates who can contribute back to the society. In many ways, it's just not an engineer who can build roads or buildings and all that, but how do you contribute much more than just structural? So I think back to what I was saying, the term meritocracy tu mungkin harus ditengok balik lah to include more things. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Miss. Okay, mungkin ada tambahan ke daripada peserta yang lain?
Yes, Miss Ng, you actually pointed out a very important point here. She's absolutely right in this part here. We need to have graduates that are able to contribute to the country in many ways. You see, like now, we are all on doing everything online now. Education is online because of this pandemic. So now the point here is, the question comes here, are we really producing qualified graduates? So what is it that we are looking at in this graduate? Everything is done online. So this is something that in the next few years, this impact is going to be there. Are we really producing graduates who are critical thinkers? Are we producing graduates who are able to contribute besides education? But looks like based on the observation, the graph is actually going down. So we got to do something on that. That is true. We have to see what are the skills that they can improvise, they can use, and make it and contribute to the country. That I have to agree with Ms. Ng. Yeah, it's a very important point there. So this system should also be removed. Yes, 100% agreed.
Okay, terima kasih Miss Parvin. Ada lagi ke tambahan? Jika tiada, kita boleh kita ada satu lagi dalam subtopik yang sama. Kita ada persoalan tentang kesediaan kaunseling kerjaya, iaitu fungsi kaunseling kerjaya dalam pelajar pengajian tinggi. Kerana apa yang kita lihat hari ini, kebanyakan pelajar agak tercari-cari ataupun tidak jumpa apa fokus mereka selepas daripada dah habis peringkat IPT ataupun pengajian tinggi. Kerana mungkin ada informasi-informasi yang mereka terlepas tentang bidang pekerjaan, dan mungkin kita boleh perbincangkan mengenai bagaimana kita nak sediakan ataupun memberi maklumat yang jelas kepada pelajar-pelajar tentang bagaimana kerjaya dan apa kerjaya yang mereka akan ceburi, dan bagaimana untuk mereka sampai kepada bidang kerjaya tersebut.
Maybe I can touch base on the solution itself. So I think one of the solution we can look into adalah connect the industry, the company out there to provide some career talk to the student, even though they are in higher uh, institution or whether they are in a secondary school, they should have all the equal access of this information. Contoh mereka rasa apa kerjaya engineer dalam sesuatu company. Maybe for a secondary form 4 or form 5 student, they may not have a full idea, right? So we can invite those industrial speaker, from the company. I believe there are already a few projects because I have few connection working with Dish for Malaysia, and they are very. I can see the project is actually coming up even in the rural school in Sarawak, Sabah, where they have this industrial collaboration. So I think if let's say students are able to connect to have early information about the career itself, it will definitely help the hala tuju, pelajar-pelajar. So I think gone are the day when a teacher always asks what is your ambition in school, then student macam a bit shy and don't know what to answer, right? So the collaboration, the connection with industry can actually provide them an early kind of information, on what does a career in engineering do, but it's just not restricted to engineering sahaja. Even you are a science student, you can do a lot other things. The important thing is to know themselves, I would say, to know about their passion, and to provide them some access to it lah. Because to me, access to this information is very crucial. Yeah.
Ya, terima kasih Misteri. Betul, ada sekolah yang dah laksanakan program hala tuju untuk pelajar-pelajar akhir mereka, tapi ada juga sekolah yang tidak melaksanakannya. Mungkin kita setuju untuk mungkin seragamkan lagi pelaksanaan program yang dilaksanakan tu, termasuklah sekolah luar bandar dan juga sekolah-sekolah yang mungkin bukan kluster, bukan sekolah sains sekalipun, tapi masih lagi ada program hala tuju dalam kalangan pelajar-pelajar sekolah, kerana tidak semestinya pelajar sekolah yang ternama sahaja seperti sekolah sains, sekolah integrasi dan sebagainya kan. Jadi mungkin ada tambahan lagi daripada peserta mengenai bagaimana kesediaan kaunseling kerjaya dalam kita punya belia ataupun pelajar sekolah dan juga peringkat IPT.
Ya, Cik Akram, boleh saya tambah sedikit?
Okey, boleh silakan.
Ya, tentang kesediaan kan. Saya setuju dengan panelis pagi ini. Kalau tak silap saya, nama dia Tuan Sunil tak? Kalau tak silap saya. He is in the industry. Dia cakap dia setuju kalau student kita nak ambil gap year. Kan? Gap year. Bila dah belajar tu, apa tu? Sometimes even after they have finished their education in tertiary school. They don't know what they want to do. So bila dah masuk tu memang just masuk sajalah. Kalau dah dapat tempat tu, they just grab and then they just go in and they study. But at the end of the whole process, they still do not know what they want to do. And that happened to one of my students. And he has not worked before. I think now it's already 5 years. So he's still looking for his passion. So, but maybe he's taking a bit of time lah. Tapi saya rasa kesediaan itu penting. Kalau untuk pelajar yang datang daripada higher income groups tu okay, sebab parents are all educated, they can help their children to do some career mapping and all that. But our concern here is the rural school. So I agree with Ray about this program, and I think this program should also be implemented in those sekolah yang sangat pendalaman lah, because the parents do not know how to advise the children, what suits you, what are your skills, what are your strengths, Kadang-kadang kita just ambil engineering saja. Lepas tu bila dah graduate tu, I don't like to be an engineer, I like to be something else. Not that the education is wasted, tapi cuma students have to know what they are going to be in for lah. Itu saja. Yeah. That's all.
I mean,
Terima
an
kasih.
interesting points, sorry, Encik Akram, maybe to add on to Matt. Yes, I agree that rural school punya student is the one that really need that sort of kind of program. But do you happen to know like any survey that has been conducted to catch actually how ready are these students from the rural school to go to, go out from their area to city to embark on the career? I'm not sure if there's this kind of survey conducted early on, but how ready are they actually upon finishing their school, to find a living out from their area, like in the city itself?
Yeah, for me, I'm not so sure of any surveys. I'm sure there are, but I had students who come from very rural areas because I was teaching in UMS before. And some of the students, when they go back for holidays, I can't even contact them. So it's like the case, they have to go up to a more hilly place to get reception and all that. So very, very cut off places and all that. So these students shared with me before that their parents will always encourage them to leave the village, wherever they are, to seek greener pastures. That's why they have to study hard. So they do have the intention to come out from the vicious cycle. It's just not pendalaman saja, they are also very poor. So they have this desire, intention and passion to get out of the the cycle of poverty. So research, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure whether, Paveen, have you read any research about their intention of students from B40 group?
Yes, and I've also experienced this. What I have noticed is like what you have said, the parents have actually told them to, go out and earn the money, and, poverty can only be overcome if you have this education and stuff. I think that pressure that is built in that child, to get out of that poverty, and they do not know what they're getting into it, that they don't get a clearer picture in their mind what is actually going on with them. What they know is they have seen their parents suffering, they've seen their lack of money, they've seen they don't have enough food on the table, so they just want to get out of that. So in that in that juncture where they just want to get out of that, they make wrong decisions. They do, because just like what Ray and you have said, that there's no one telling them or preparing them. There's a whole wide world out there. Get up from here, go to the city, and you earn more money. I've seen from my experience that the students have told me. I was teaching in KLMU before, one place that has taught me a lot. I've seen a lot of students before where they come from this B40 category, and they have even become escorts. They've become anything. They become anything just to get out of that that label of being poor. So that is also the lack of knowledge, lack of awareness, pressure from family, pressure to improve that life has actually caused them to sometimes make wrong decision. That has happened. This is what I have read once, I cannot remember that time when I was studying teaching in KLMU. I read about this, and there was even an article written on that. But then, when you work in childcare, you see young girls, they work elsewhere, they have children. When I say they work elsewhere, as in they become prostitutes just to get out of that stigma that they are poor. So this lack of awareness, they just go on, they just move on. Whatever is coming, okay, I need to study this, I study. Or this will give me money, I'll study. But then when they realize that, it's not what they thought it is, then that's where they start making wrong decision. That's where the regret comes in. That's where they feel the education is a waste. And when came to internship as well, we have gotten some feedback from certain companies where they say, like what Ms. Ng you said, we come from a system where everything is result based. Everything is result based. Students cannot perform. So I didn't hear the first part of this talk, and when you said that they need a gap year, it's actually very important. Now that you talk about it, it made sense to me. Yes, they need that gap year because they are all just busy producing results. Universities now are becoming, I don't know whether it's a wrong term to use. It's all business now. More students, more money, and I don't know if I'm saying it the correct way, but that's what I felt now. And the higher marks you get, the better it is. So there is the awareness is missing. I can't seem to get that word. What they need is to be able to apply what they have learned. Results are not the only thing that will give them all this awareness. No, they need to know what is it that they're getting into. So it's a lot of aspect that unfortunately is true. Result based, lack of awareness. They want to get rid of that stigma that they come from a poor family, so they make harsh decisions and without thinking much. That's true.
Thanks, Miss Parvin. Mungkin ada lagi satu tambahan daripada peserta. Jika tidak ada, mungkin kita boleh sedia untuk topik kita yang terakhir. Dan kali ini ada 3, iaitu disiplin diri, moral dan kesihatan mental. Ini mungkin jadi satu perbincangan yang agak mendalam dan agak popular akhir-akhir ini, sejak ada beberapa kes kesihatan mental di kalangan pelajar pengajian tinggi, dan itu pun kes yang baru juga, mungkin seminggu 2.
Can I talk about this? Sebab semalam I was involved in a talk on Belia dan Keluarga. It was by UITM and also by UTM, UITM and UTA. I was listening to this talk by all these panels, very knowledgeable panels who shared about this issue on mental health. And what particularly interested me was a talk given by Dr. Charanjit. So she said something like, parents, especially parents, and no matter whether they're in the university level or they are not in the university level, school children's, any age, as long as they're under their parents' wings, parents have this expectation. So when they expect something of their child, they do not see the child is actually suffering from mental illness. When I say suffering from mental illness, could be from depression or pressure at work, or not at work, at school, where they are expected to produce a certain kind of results. So parents don't see that. For them, if the child says, today I just don't want to study, I'm very tired, the parents go like, banyak kerene, tak nak belajar. That's what they come up with this conclusion. So one of the solution that was given by this professor, she said, child talk is important no matter how old the child may be. child talk is so important. But the next question here is, not many parents know how to do a child talk. You know, they think, okay, by me asking you a question, are you okay? Is the school all right? The child says, yes, everything is okay. Nothing further is dwelled. That's it. Okay, you have already said you're fine, so I assume you're fine, you're moving on. So some ignorance is seen here, some ignorance. And also, teachers as well, I would say, especially when we're doing now, now it's all rampant. The mental health is becoming really bad, especially during this pandemic. Everyone is in one house and there's so many members of the family, if there are, and some of us, there's no family members at all, just alone. So all these things can be factors. Anything can be factors when you're always at home all the time. So another case happens here is teachers, we expect them to finish their homework, you know, very like what I mentioned earlier, what Miss Ang said, you know, everything is result based. So we want them to finish their homework. We never ask this student, you guys all right? Is everything okay at home? We don't. So we have a session which is known as academic advisory, where the lecturers talk to the students, but not all students become comfortable with the teachers or with their lecturers. They are not very comfortable with it. So what happens here is the child, when I say child, that means university level or any level, they tend to suppress everything in them. And that eventually leads to suicidal thoughts, that eventually leads to failure. And these are the factors that I notice is happening. And it is true, by research, it is done. Men, according to the talk that I attended yesterday, men, the boys, they tend to fall in this trap more than the girls, apparently, because the nature of the boys, where they are introverts, you know, the society expects the boy to solve problems themselves. Girls are known to be emotional, so yes, they are a bit extroverts, but I think the boys should also be encouraged to voice out their problems, their feelings, that they are not happy, they are feeling pressured. They have to have this talk, and parents need to be open about this, and so do the educators. They need to open up on this matter. We cannot disregard if the child says, yeah, I'm okay. The okay must be analyzed. What kind of tone is that okay said? In what tone is that okay said? So that is important, I feel. That's what I heard and that's what I share. Thank you.
Yes, Miss Parvin. Betul. Memang kebanyakan pelajar sekolah dia tak boleh dapatkan satu kontak yang terus kepada cikgu untuk nyatakan dia punya masalah dan sebagainya. Dan mungkin ada tambahan yang lain daripada peserta kita hari ini mengenai mungkin disiplin yang bagaimana cara kita membantu disiplinkan pelajar di kala di semasa apa virtual punya education sekarang.
I think sekarang kan kita banyak virtual learning, you know, so to me this virtual learning can even challenge lah, you know, like what Pavin shared earlier on in the topics about student punya disiplin diri, dia punya kesihatan mental. I can see nowadays, if let's say I sudah habis SPM 2 tahun lepas, you know, so when I enroll to my college, I didn't get to meet my you know, friends. I punya coursemate langsung tak ada sebab MCO sampai sekarang. So we are not allowed to do physical classroom teaching, but all the time during my 1 to 1.5 years punya lesson, I cuma virtually interact sahaja dengan lecturer I, dengan student, you know, dengan semua. So how does it impact student, you know, mental state itself, and how can it actually produce the next graduate, you know, when they come out from the society, you know, would that actually impact their social learning, their engagement with people or not? So I would see it could, basically, because uh, being in industry, I can I can see, even though graduate earlier on, before the, you know, all those pandemic happen lah, they are even not so well prepared to face the real working world. You know, there are lack of communication skill, they are not confident. Yeah, so this is how we should look at the core problem of this, like how do we help to prepare our student and graduate so that they are able to face the market, the job market better. Yeah, not just the job market, but also to train them how to be entrepreneur, how to create their own opportunity. So to me, uh, virtual learning has its pro and con, but basically I can see it is always a challenge for one to engage in virtual learning. As much as we want to social distancing, we want to, because of this pandemic, right, and light of this pandemic, but we also need to look at how do we assist the student, macam mana boleh maximize their punya learning experience, in terms of virtual kind of thing, because this is very important to prepare themselves for the next stage of their life.
Yeah. Then can I continue from where Ray has left?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree lah. Virtual learning ni memang ada banyak challenges lah, especially for young people. Research has been done overseas kan. A lot of these young people actually suffer from depression, and they also exhibit some kind of aggression because they are cut off from friends, the support group, the friends, no interaction and all that. So quite stressful. They feel very stressful, have to cope up in their homes, And ada satu lagi article recently I read like 2 days ago. Postgraduate students, when they have to go online for virtual learning, a lot of the men, not the women, the male students actually left. So this one man I think he was interviewed, and he says that, no, I'm a machine. I need to go out and meet people, so I can't be sitting in front of my laptop and talking to people on the screen. So this virtual learning ini memang ada banyak dia punya challenges lah. But I think it can also instill discipline in the students jugalah. Tapi for me, I think personally, it is a very good time for educators like us, some of us here, to really look at our students as human beings, not just as students, that we just have to deliver our lessons and then, okay, finish, end of class, finish, switch off the computer and that's it. I totally agree with Pavin that we have to ask questions, how they are coping. I remember reading a book by Frank McCourt. He's an Irishman, teacher man. If you have not read this, please do buy this book, especially for those educators. He said that he has a lot of parents coming to school to see him and ask, how does my boy do in his math? How does my girl do in this subject, and so forth? But there's one particular parent that came and asked him this question: is my child happy in school, teacher? So this Frank McCourt says, yes, he is. He's socializing well with the other peers and all that. So the parent was very happy and say, okay, if he's happy, I'm happy. There was no mention about the grades and all that. So I think we have to look beyond numbers, statistics. We have to see students as students, and I would encourage educators, especially to be more sensitive to your students, especially during this time, because I think they are facing a lot of pressure, especially as young people. They need the socializing and all that. So that's something for me. It's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thanks, Miss Madeline. Ya, mungkin ada tambahan lagi daripada peserta.
Just to add on to what Ray said, it's true, when students, they go out and work, they don't have that confidence anymore, especially with this virtual learning. You see, very simple example we give, I can give here is when I teach them, when you just request them to turn on their cameras, they'll never do it. You have to beg them to turn on their camera to show their faces to you. They won't do it because you see, these are the things that's happening. These are the things that are actually causing the students to feel very demotivated. They get it's just like, I'm just learning. I can sleep and learn. Calls are recorded. They have that flexibility now where they can listen to the lecture again and then catch up with whatever they have left. So when you put them in breakout rooms, I've started doing this. Lucky Teams, they have this icon there where I put them in breakout rooms and I force them to on their camera. Oh, the hate messages I got. I really got hate messages. You know, you just have to teach us. You don't have to tell us. You know, when they give such feedbacks towards the end of the semester. But for me, that was my jackpot. That means I did my job. You know, they actually opened the camera. They spoke to one another. They were able to communicate with one another. They were able to exchange ideas. So I think the educators, we need to be a little harsher, and universities now they have to make this compulsory. You know, you talk to us behind the screen, make sure cameras are on. I mean, it's an effort, but I do not know whether it's going to work or not, whether this will instill any discipline in the student. But this virtual learning is definitely pulling the student back, I would say, in many aspects. EQ, confidence, discipline, it is pulling the students back. It is. So we have to, I don't know how long is this virtual learning is going to work, how long is it going to be, but this looks like a future now to me. You know, everyone is so comfortable with virtual learning. So if this is going to be the future, then we have to have lots of revision done to this kind of virtual learning. We have to do something about this, not just teach and that's about it. And students attend. Like what Ray said, students are going to have a lot of problems when they start working. Yeah, just to add on that.
Ya, terima kasih Miss Pravin. Betul, kita pelajar kebanyakannya tidak banyak kekurangan daripada pembelajaran online hari ini. Dan kita, ya, untuk sesi perbincangan petang nanti kita akan bincangkan pula bagaimana pelajar IPT nanti menghadapi proses sebelum mereka pergi kepada bidang kerjaya di luar. Dan mungkin ada tambahan atau satu tambahan terakhir sebelum kita buat sesi round table. Baiklah, jika tidak ada tambahan, maka kita akan teruskan kepada sesi terakhir kita, iaitu sesi round table. Sebelum kita mungkin akan ada satu sesi bergambar. Tapi sebelum tu kita boleh boleh utarakan jika ada kata-kata akhir untuknya penggulungan program ni daripada setiap peserta kita. Okay, saya persilakan.
Cik Akram kata round table kah? Macam conclusion dah kan?
Kita dah sampai pada round table.
Okay. Yes, just saya rasa I like this initiative lah, that we have to really be aware of the youth, the needs and all that, especially during this pandemic. So hopefully lah, whatever that we have discussed here will be discussed at the higher level, the policy makers and all that lah, bagi saya lah. Tapi I just want to add one more about lifelong learning. So I think it is important also that we have to inculcate this value in our youth dekat belia kita, apa tu lifelong learning, pembelajaran sepanjang hayat. Because based on my experience kan, student just learn for the sake of passing exams to get good grades, but they do not value knowledge for what knowledge is, you know. So lifelong learning it's a skills that we need to inculcate in students, help them to hone this skill, because this is what sustainability is all about, because you know the world is fast changing. There's influx of knowledge, you know, at every second, influx of knowledges and all that. So we have to actually teach our students to hone the skills of lifelong learning lah. Itu sajalah. Banyak belajar lah. Student kita ni banyak belajar buku teks, tapi buku-buku lain tu jarang sikit. So we have to read beyond the classroom, not just reading to pass the exam. So I normally will tell my students, you got to make sure you read something more than just your textbooks kan. Kalau kita tengok orang yang berjaya, macam Elon Musk lah contohnya. Saya dengar dia macam baca 2 buku dalam 1 hari kalau tak silap saya. Ya, so memang kita kena banyakkan budaya membaca ni lah untuk kaum belia kita. Satu lagi dia punya value mereka tu kena change lah. They don't just get the degree to be successful, to be successful to earn a lot of money. You know, that must not be their end goals. What can they contribute back to the society? Okay, itu saja. Thank you.
Terima kasih Miss Madeline. Kita teruskan, mungkin ada daripada Encik Ray ada tambahan?
Yeah, I think yes, lifelong learning is really a way forward. So to add on further on what kind of things that one need to continue learn, you know, even though they have graduated from school or during when they are already in school, what sort of knowledge is valuable to oneself as a student. The first one would be other than the knowledge that they have learned in school, they also need to learn about EQ, I would say, it's very important, EQ, and how to groom their personality, some ethics at work or some ethics to make them survive in their life, even like a survival skill, something which is useful to their life later, other than all the buku-buku nota punya, knowledge lah. One thing I notice is always graduate from the school, they do not know how to question when something is not right. Either they feel scared or they feel they may ask a stupid question, they lack of this ability to say something out. So I'm not sure whether this could be trained. How could that be trained while they are in school? But to me, this is related to, a behavior kind of grooming. Yeah, it would be good if, they are able to train on say something when something is not right, because at the end of the world, there's no stupid questions. At the end of the world, it's just, about learning, continuous learning from each other. And the second part would be on the vocational topics. So I think this morning I heard Mr. Sunia also talk about vocational courses only be favored among those yang result tak begitu bagus. So mereka rasa, result yang tak bagus itu kononnya mereka akan ambil lah, vocational courses, the technical courses dekat college kemahiran ke. There's no emphasis on that vocational course nowadays. But the reality is vocational courses is one of the very important trend, we talk about the emergence of technology now, like AI lah, robotic, automation, that we all say, kita tak perlu, those skilled worker already, but the reality is that we need a skilled worker who is not just equally skilled at doing their job, tapi boleh think and create some new kind of solution. Yeah, so we should emphasize more on vocational courses to create some awareness on the importance of vocational courses, what are the options available for vocational courses, and it has to always link these vocational courses to industry. Selalu ada linkage so that when one study the vocational courses, they're able to see the relevant to the industry later. Because to me, the linkage is very important, Yeah. So I think, that's what I wanted to emphasize more. Yeah, it's a good sharing. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mr. Ray. Okey, kita pergi kepada Miss Barbie. Ada tambahan?
Yeah, thanks, Miss Ang and Mr. Ray. Very insightful. It's true. I truly enjoyed this session today. No judgments, no prejudice. We all spoke openly and freely about a lot of things. And I see this. I'm going to be very honest and open in this platform here. We got to stop politicizing education. We got to stop doing that. Every time there's change in the political system, education is affected. And the ones who are really affected are these children, any level, and the educators, because they have to adjust. Kids are lost because we educators are teaching them. Kids are lost. They don't know what to do. And whenever there's a new change coming in, the victims are the students. They are the victims. And when as they go, sometimes they become so lost, they don't even know what they studied in the school. And this comes from school, the teachers in primary school and secondary schools, they are exhausted. They are the ones who are really training the students to make them qualified in the university. And when we see the students struggle, we blame the teachers. It's not right. I don't think so. That's how it should be looked at. I have never taught in primary school. I've never taught in secondary school, but I've seen my friends who work hard. We have read this. We have read everywhere. They work hard. They try to they try to make a difference. But when these issues come in, when we keep politicizing education, there's a problem here. So some educators tend to give up. Many don't, of course. And mostly students, they just don't know what they are doing. So like what Ray said, when they go to tertiary level, they don't ask questions. They just follow the flow. And when they don't ask questions, probably like what he said, the fear is definitely instilled in them. If I ask this question, how am I going to sound? These things are supposed to be encouraged from the very beginning. Ask question, we should never shut the child down. And that will come to sustainability in education in the future, like what Ms. Ang said. That they should understand the value of education already, not something that they just have to go through and something that will promise them a job, especially you have your Form 5, you are okay to work. You're okay, you have the qualification. So all these, to me, I see it as the core of it is the way the education system is. Changes are going on. Good changes are good, definitely. But these changes are supposed to be knowledgeable changes or experimental changes, not favorable changes, not biased changes. It should look at the students. It should look at the quality that we are going to produce. This kids later on, when I say kids, it can be university level, can be any level. Yeah, they're going to represent the country. And when they work in a company, they're going to represent the education. For now, are we safe to say that, we produce good quality students? We are lacking in many ways. We are lacking in the way we conduct our lessons, the way the lesson plans are done, the way emphasis are given on education. Students are like what Ray said, students are ridiculed when they go into this vocational school. That's not how it's supposed to be. This has to change. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks Miss Praveen. Okay, kita siapa lagi? Miss Nur Nabila. Udah, mungkin ada tambahan terakhir.
Encik Akram, bukan tambahan tapi nak minta kalau kita boleh share email addresses kita kat sini, siapa-siapa yang maybe we can collaborate or whatever, just a suggestion if everyone is agreeable. Thank you.
Ya, boleh. Boleh juga kalau jika ada yang nak berkongsi mungkin email ataupun mungkin ada LinkedIn yang boleh jadikan connection untuk kita seterusnya kepada ahli-ahli peserta lain. Miss Nur Nabila tak ada Nur Ina tak boleh. Okey, kepada Encik Muhammad Adib mungkin ada kata-kata penggolongan. Okay, Cik Muhammad tadi Okay, kalau macam tu kita tamatkan sesi roundtable kita um, tamatlah sudah untuk kita punya sesi perbincangan pagi ni. Bolehkah saya minta semua untuk turn on kan kamera untuk pihak penganjur ambil gambar untuk sesi pagi. Dah tengah hari dah.
Ya, Cik Akram, sorry ya, saya punya video ada masalah. Tapi I want to thank you Encik Akram for facilitating this session. You've done well. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Okay, yang lain mungkin jika tidak ada apa-apa masalah boleh buka kamera. Okay, terima kasih. Uh, kita bagi masa sikit lagi.
Okey, saya snap dulu lah yang mana ada.
Okay, boleh teruskan.
Okey, satu senyum ya. 1, 2, 3. Tak jadi. 1, 2, 3. Sebentar. Okay, saya buat sekali lagi. Okey, gambar cantik nanti saya boleh kongsi kemudian melalui email. Terima kasih semua.
Thank you everyone.
So
Thank
we
you.
see the afternoon session. Bye.
Terima
Bye-bye.
kasih.
Terima kasih Cik Akram, Cik Malika dan semua.
Terima kasih.
Thank
Terima kasih
you.
semua.
Thank you.
Itu
Bye-bye.
semua.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye-bye.